Today, I want to talk about why so many people struggle with journaling and the mistake that keeps you stuck in a loop, and how the right questions can finally move you from venting to actually healing. After I posted my journaling video, something happened. I started reading the comments, and one stopped me. Someone wrote, "I'd rather read than journal." And in that moment, I realized something really important. There's a fundamental misunderstanding about what journaling actually is. Journaling isn't another task to check off. Journaling is self reflection, it's self healing, and the one practice where you stop looking outward and finally turn inward. You cannot heal what you refuse to see, and you cannot see yourself by reading someone else's words. So let me share what's actually happening in your brain when you read versus when you reflect. Here's the difference. Reading fills your mind with more. Reflection helps you understand what's already there. It's not about adding more information. It's about finally making sense of what you've been carrying. So let me show you what gets in the way and how to move through it. The first obstacle is what I call blank page paralysis. You know that feeling? I don't know what to write. I sit here and nothing comes. My mind just goes completely blank. And here's how that usually plays out. You buy a beautiful journal, you set aside some time, you might even light a candle, and then you stare. Minutes pass, you write a sentence, cross it out, feel frustrated, close the journal, tell yourself you try again tomorrow. I see this one all the time. One of my clients, Monica, executive director at a nonprofit, and she came to me with this exact struggle. "I've tried journaling," she said. "I know it would help, but every time I open my notebook, I freeze." So we dug into it, and the root cause became very clear. Monica had never been taught how to ask herself meaningful questions. I gave her specific prompts, then everything changed. The questions gave her mind a doorway, a place to start. Instead of staring at infinite possibility, she had a focused invitation. In just 2 weeks, she was journaling daily, not because she forced herself, but because the questions made her curious about her own inner world. And here's the insight. You don't need to know what to write. You just need to ask the right question. Now, the second obstacle is the opposite problem. I call it the dumping trap. Some people don't struggle to write, they write too much. Pages and pages, every frustration, every worry, every grievance. I had this one client, James. He's a financial consultant, high performer, and he journaled every single day proudly. And when I asked him how he felt afterwards, he paused and said, "Honestly, the same, maybe even worse sometimes." And James had fallen into the dumping trap. Now, don't get me wrong, dumping is important. When emotions are overwhelming, you need to get them out. Expressive writing, which I talked about in my video, is powerful precisely because it lets you release what's been bottled up. But here's the thing. Dumping was never meant to be the destination. It's the clearing, not the healing. If all you do is dump day after day, you're not processing, you're rehearsing. You're replaying the same old shitty stories, reinforcing the same neural pathways, and running the same painful loops over and over again. James didn't need to write more. He needed to write differently. And once he started using guided questions, everything shifted. He moved from venting to insight, from rehearsing pain to releasing it. He said, "I finally feel like I'm getting somewhere." Dumping clears the surface. Questions reach the root. The third obstacle is the reading trap. I had another client, Denise, corporate trainer, shelves of self-help books, podcasts on every commute, workshops every quarter. She consumed everything about personal growth. But she came to me confused. "I know so much," she said. "Why do I still feel stuck?" Reading is consumption. Journaling is creation. When you read, you're filling your mind. When you journal, you're emptying it. You're organizing it. You're understanding it. Reading can inspire reflection, but it cannot replace it. You can read 100 books about swimming, study techniques, memorize the strokes, but until you get in the water, you haven't actually learned how to swim. Your inner world works the same way. You can read about healing, about growth, about transformation, but until you turn inward and ask yourself those hard questions, nothing fundamentally changes. Denise was collecting tools she never used on herself. Her mind was so cluttered with other people's answers. But she had never stopped to ask her own questions. And once she started a reflection practice, Something clicked. She told me, I realized I was hiding in my books. I felt safer than looking at myself. And here's the insight: the answers you're searching for aren't in another book. They're already hiding inside you, waiting to be discovered. So, we talked about three obstacles: blank page paralysis, the dumping trap, and the reading trap. And you might be noticing a pattern here. The solution to all three is the very same thing: the right questions. Questions give you a doorway when you're stuck. Questions give you direction when you're dumping. Questions pull you inward when you've been looking outward. So, what kind of questions actually create transformation? I've developed 25 reflection questions organized into 5 themes. Each one addresses a different aspect of your inner world. And depending on what you're going through, you can go straight to these questions that you need most. So, the first theme is anger and frustration. Now, here's where most people don't understand about anger. Anger is a sign that something is stuck. There's a block, energy that isn't flowing the way it needs to. It could be a boundary that's been crossed, a value that's been violated, or something deeper that's been suppressed for years. The question in this theme help you identify where the block is and what your anger is actually trying to show you. And the second theme is loneliness. This is the emotion we rarely name. You can have a full calendar and still feel invisible. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely unseen. And these questions help you to explore what connection actually means to you and what's been missing. The third theme is gratitude and appreciation. This one's powerful because gratitude isn't just about positive thinking. Gratitude raises your frequency. It aligns you with the universal energy flow. It opens you to receiving what you truly desire. In my journaling video, I talked about how gratitude activates the brain's reward centers. And these questions take the practice deeper, beyond surface level lists, into genuine, transformative appreciation. The fourth theme is personal growth and goals. Without this kind of reflection, you can stay busy for years without ever moving forward. You check boxes, you accomplish things, but you never stop to ask if any of it actually matters to you. And these questions help you clarify what you truly want and whether your daily actions align with it. And the fifth theme is spiritual connection. This is where we go the deepest, beyond the daily, beyond the practical, into the essence of who you are and why you're here. And these questions help you nurture your relationship with something greater than yourself, whether that's your higher self, the universe, or the collective human experience. And here's the insight: you don't need to tackle everything all at once. Start with the theme that resonates most with you today. Trust yourself to know what you need. Now, before you dive into any of these questions, there's one more element I want to share, and that's creating sacred space. I had a client, Tanya, who was a nurse practitioner. She had 3 wonderful kids, constantly giving attention to everybody. And she told me, I tried journaling at the kitchen table. Someone always interrupted. I never got past 2 sentences. And here's the truth: reflection requires intention. It requires a container. So find a spot that really feels right, your own little sanctuary, quiet corner in your bedroom, comfortable chair by the window, even a peaceful spot in the garden. Maybe light a candle or play soft music, have a cup of warm tea. Maybe place a few crystals or spiritual items nearby that resonate with you. And these rituals signal to your brain that it's sacred time for you, time to go inward. And here's the insight: you can't pour from an empty cup. Sacred space isn't selfish, it's essential. Now, you don't need all 25 questions every day. That would be way too much and overwhelming. And this isn't about perfection, it's about presence. So if you've been stuck staring at blank pages, these questions will give you a doorway. And if you've been dumping without healing, these questions will give you a direction. And if you've been reading and collecting instead of reflecting and transforming, these questions will bring you home to yourself. Start with one thing, one question. See what arises. And remember this: is this thought true? Or is this just familiar? Because familiar and true are not the same things. And the patterns you've been running, well, they're not who you are. They're just patterns. And patterns can be changed. These aren't just journaling prompts. They're invitations to meet yourself, maybe for the first time. Maybe after years of looking away, reflection is a journey, not a destination. It's not about finding the right answers. It's about asking honest questions with compassion, with curiosity, with courage. Life's a whirlwind, but in the eye of the storm, there's space to be found, and your inner world is waiting to be discovered. So light that candle, open the journal, and start listening. Now, you might be wondering how to actually get started. So I've put those questions into a PDF for you, and it's called 25 Reflective Questions, Daily Questions to Prompt Spiritual Reflection. All 5 themes, and I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 themes do you most need to explore right now? Anger, loneliness, gratitude, growth, spiritual connection? Drop it in the comments below. Hit that bell so you don't miss next week's video. And I'll look forward to seeing you on my next video.